I love that.
Yeah, you ain't had overalls on here before, right? $39.
No, we haven't actually.
Still $39 Liberties.
$39 Liberties. These things have probably been $39 for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's good. They're like disposable gloves, you know.
I love workwear. I'm a carpenter. I've been working on a sawmill since I was 12 years old, and I grew up wearing Carhartt overalls.
Yeah.
They last a little longer than the Liberties on the sawmill.
Yeah.
But I want to eventually have my own workwear brand.
Yeah, that'd be
Is
badass.
my idea, and I don't think it's really hard to compete because all you're going against is, no offense Liberty, and no offense Dickies, and no offense to Carhartt, but not that much competition.
Yeah, I agree. They one of the things about them is they do shrink in length the more you wash them. So then when they get shrunk too much, then they go in the trash. So they're good for a month or so.
That's funny.
That Bond company's going to do your own overall for you with our logo
Oh, really?
on the Liberty.
Oh, you're way ahead of us. You're already making your own workwear?
Yeah, I had that meeting today.
Dang.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything these days.
That's going to cost us something at some point. They got something in mind to hit us with some kind of a bill or something.
Just remember, anyone that gives you free overalls, they're coming after you.
They're coming. They got an idea.
You don't see them often anymore. The overalls is often.
Nah, but you know what?
They're coming back.
I'm bringing them back.
Bringing them back. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's get started, Mio.
All right. So today on the podcast, we have the Blue Collar Millionaire,
Hell yeah.
Let's
Mr.
go.
Heath. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Let's have it.
we got Izzy, too.
Oh, yeah. Izzy.
Yep.
Nice to
Hi,
meet you,
guys.
Izzy.
Nice to meet you guys.
Isabel.
All right. So tell us a little bit about how you came up with the name Blue Collar Millionaire and what that means to you, and a little bit about yourself.
I'll give you a long, several year story smashed into just a few seconds. But I've been rich and I've been broke and I've been rich again. I tell people that I've slept in the back of a semi truck on the side of the road, and I've slept at the top of the Four Seasons. I've taken Greyhound bus to a business meeting. I've also rode on the back of my jet. There's just really not any levels of financial status that I haven't experienced.
Yeah.
And the second time around, when I was rich the second time, I lost everything in the construction bust. I became a millionaire in the construction business, and lost it all in the bust. And the second time around, I made it back in the trucking business. I was a truck driver. I wore overalls when I was a truck driver, just like this, and I took one truck and a hard work ethic and creativity, and turned that one truck into a multi-million-dollar empire with trucks all across the country in every state in the U.S. And in 2022, I sold it to Red Bull.
Nice.
And I was getting interviewed after that sale by some news outlets, by news people. And in fact, I might even have been sitting on my jet when they were interviewing me. I can't remember, but after hearing my story, and my journey from becoming a truck driver to a multimillionaire and selling to Red Bull, the comment was made that so you're like the ultimate blue collar millionaire, and it kind of stuck. And so since then, several guys that heard that being said and that were around started calling me. It just kind of had a ring, and that's how it all started.
I like it.
Yep. So that's hence the hat, ultimate blue collar.
So were you just, in terms of the construction, were you a good general contractor? What were you?
Well, I primarily general contracting, but I also had a framing crew.
Okay.
We were framing houses up near Jackson Hole, Wyoming, making money just hand over fist. It was a framing crew that my buddy had started, and I acquired from him. It blended right into my house building business, and I was building spec houses, and we started building one spec house at a time, two, here pretty soon we were building 20 and 30 spec houses a year.
Spec housing, that's where you get paid on square footage you're adding?
You build the house with the speculation that somebody's going to buy it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're building the house with no buyer.
Yeah.
And the boom was so good.
Was this in 2007, 2008?
5, 6,
Okay.
7.
So right before all that hit.
And the boom was so good that a lot of times we'd have those houses even sold before there was hammer and nails on the job site. So we'd have a hole dug, concrete in the ground. We'd have profit on the house and house sold before we even put boards and hammers and nails up.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. Because I have some buddies that are left over some houses right now.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty bust right now the last year. Not as bad as 2012 or 2011. Probably, is that when it all went downhill?
Yeah, 2008, 9. I started my truck line in 2010. I went broke right before 2010, so 8, 9. I remember taking my kids and my wife out to dinner, and it was really hard because going from being able to buy just about whatever you want, and it was very public. It was a small community, and so as you can imagine, a rich 20-something-year-old in the community. I was like a big donor to the high school and everything else, and vacations left and right every other few months, brand new trucks. I tell a story. At one time, I had a pile of dirt that needed to be shoveled over a small trench. And I had enough money at that point in my life that I just went and bought a skid steer to move that pile of dirt. So, but anyways, I remember a story where we were out to dinner and we ordered, we went to the hibachi grill and we ordered one meal because they provide you a lot of food and we can split it into fourths into the family.
Yeah.
So to go from damn comfortable to go from being a millionaire to broke to splitting meals to being a truck driver, sleeping in the back of the truck, driving all night long, all day long.
I could imagine. Wow.
So are you from Wyoming?
From southeast Idaho. I was born in a little country town. I'm a country boy from the potato patch in Idaho.
Nice.
How'd you end up in Jackson Hole doing framing?
Well, it's just outside of Jackson Hole, so Driggs and Victor just on the other side of the mountain, so like 5-10 minutes away from Jackson Hole. They say all the billionaires are in Jackson Hole and the multimillionaires are in Driggs and Victor right over there. And I ended up over there when I ended up with that framing company. The guy had already had contracts over there doing a bunch of framing shit. I made a lot of money with that crew, and but that's how I ended up over there.
So what happened that you kind of lost everything? Was it kind of just over leveraged or something, or what was it?
Listen, number one, I didn't have all the tools in toolbox to manage that kind of money at that age.
Yeah.
Okay. And excuses are for assholes,
We live and we learn,
We live and we learn. I don't like to blame it on anybody else. There was some ill-advised decisions that my older self wouldn't make.
Yep.
But I can tell you the straw that broke the camel's back is that we were building some spec homes for somebody else whose bank draws started getting slower and slower. And these were big, expensive, fancy houses. And their bank draws from their bank started getting slower and slower to me.
Yeah.
And I had to pay my subcontractors because they were working for me on other homes. I had to keep them happy.
Yep.
So I start paying them with my own money, my own cash, my own line of credit, and then here pretty soon their bank draws stopped, and the guy filed bankruptcy. And I had already fronted a bunch of money to pay for some of these homes. I mean, it really wiped me out. And looking back at it now, it's crazy because at the end of the day, I paid back 99% of my creditors. I think it was down to like the last maybe $150,000.
Wow.
And they didn't want to negotiate with me at all. They just forced my hand. I mean, I begged for them. But, from their perspective, it's like, what's your plan? Well, I don't have a plan. I think I might have to go drive semi-truck to feed my family. And they're looking at that $150,000 thinking, geez, we're better. And I'm saying 150. It was about that. It was a little. When I look at that now, I'm like, geez, that's all that broke my back at the time.
Yeah.
But it was absolute hell. I mean, not only did it break me financially, it broke my soul, and it broke my
I could only
my
imagine.
confidence, and I had a tough time getting out of bed out of that. I mean, I was meant to be a multimillionaire businessman, and that shattered my dreams.
I feel like this is a common thing in terms of the construction business. This happens a lot. My entire family's in construction, and my dad's an electrical contractor. My uncle's a general contractor. Anyways, there's been so many companies that I've seen along the way that kind of have a similar situation. They're like spending, like buying the nice cars, and all of a sudden crashed, bankruptcy, all this stuff. So it's a tough business.
It's a super market-driven business, and there's a big problem in becoming wealthy too young, in my opinion. You just don't know. Looking back on it now, I wouldn't have fronted that guy's bills. I wouldn't have stretched myself out that bad. And so, I think everybody's looking to blame it on somebody else. I ain't got anybody to blame it on but myself, but it happened.
Yep.
And you learn from it. I got way more failures than I ever have wins. Just so happens some of my wins are big wins.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
What is the one thing that like having that whole situation happen to you, what did you really learn, or what's one of the biggest things that you learned kind of coming out of that's kind of made you like a lot stronger today?
Well, listen, I've always had a work ethic that was just unmatched by very few. I mean, what I learned out of it is that the biggest thing I learned out of it is I can recover from pretty much anything. I don't want to go broke again, but if I do, I'll be rich again. I mean, if you involve some work ethic and some good negotiations, some good salesmanship, and get in the right circles, and when I built this truck line, let me put this into perspective. Most truck lines my size that are multi-million-dollar truck lines, one truck and trailer costs as much as a house.
Yeah, I know, they're expensive.
Okay, and I had hundreds, and I acquired hundreds, and I acquired other trucking companies with no credit score at the beginning of the time because I just had went broke. And so that, if anything, the learning lesson is that, when I talk to aspiring businessmen that they just want to do this, do that, it's like, what the fuck's your excuse?
Yep.
What are you waiting for?
Yep.
And so it's a learning lesson that you can overcome just about anything. But I mean, shit, man, that experience is speckled with learning lessons.
Do you have a mentor?
I have a lot of mentors. I believe in mentors. I believe in coaches. There's different mentors that have come into my life at different times for different needs. That's just how I put it. So if you talk about like a mentor when I was younger, I knew a guy. He operated a backhoe. He wore overalls and dirty boots and dirty hands, and I rode a Harley. And I wanted to be that guy. Till I got a little older and realized that I didn't know if I was going to be able to be a millionaire and be that guy, right? And then I ran into a guy that owned a truck line. His name was Morgan Edwards. God rest his soul. He was that guy. He was the guy that had the gloves in his back pocket. He was driving truck, and he was a multimillionaire from the trucking business. And he took me under his wing, and he taught me everything he knew about the trucking business. And I was like a sponge, and I outworked everybody. And I used that information that I got from him over several years and built it into my own business.
So what does Red Bull buy from you? Do they buy your routes? Do they buy your trucks?
Yeah, the whole entire infrastructure. So they buy the asset. And they bought it under the name of Berger, which is a European-owned Red Bull's out of Austria.
Okay.
And they own they own whatever percentage, majority percent, I don't know, but they own a transportation company in Austria called Berger Logistics. It's kind of what they call their transportation side. And over there they own like trains and container ships and trucks and everything else.
Interesting.
So they bought it under the flag of Berger Logistics, and they buy all your infrastructure, your software, your intellectual property, your customers, because they have shipments that work for the fleet, but then the fleet still needs to get back and everything else. Your drivers are really hard. And when they bought it at a time when Berger came in there. And it's named after the famous race car, Formula One race car driver that was best friends with the founder of Red Bull. His name's Gerhard Berger. So Gerhard Berger and the founder of Red Bull started Berger Logistics. Anyways,
that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Gerhard Berger. You can Google him. He's a famous Formula One race car driver, and they at the time they bought it, we were coming out of COVID, and people couldn't get shipments. You just couldn't get shit. Like shippers were not just them, but every shipper. You know, remember when you could order something and it wouldn't show up? They're like, yeah, that's like 6 months out. Yeah. Okay, they were dealing with the same thing. What happens when you only have energy? I mean, I don't know for sure. I got to assume, but what happens when you only have energy drink SKUs and you can't get them on shelves?
Yeah, kill your business.
You know, and they're fine. Look, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and they figured it out. But I think that's probably what pressed them to want to be in the transportation business.
Makes sense.
So one question I have is kind of during this time, because it was such a struggle, how did you deal with in terms of your family and other things like that? Did that take a major toll in terms of the downside, or was it hard?
Listen, I got a book coming out, actually. I talk about it a little bit. There are things that you would do the exact same again.
Yep.
And there's things that you would do completely different. And one of those things that I would do completely different is, how much attention I gave to my older kids that are grown up and moved on now and are in college, and how much attention I gave to my ex-wife. Like, they were 4 and 5. I was more focused on business than anything else. So it's true, success and wealth will have collateral damage on your personal life if you allow it to. But I also know people that are really wealthy that have made it a priority to make sure that their wealth doesn't have collateral damage. So those
people are older though, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're older, but shit, I was grinding. I was traveling. Yeah. Even when the business became a multi-million-dollar business, I was on my jet traveling almost every day, going to different business meetings, and I was gone all the time. I was living in a suitcase. So it does have damage on a family and that environment if you let it, and I let it.
Yep. I also think the partner plays a big role because, it's very influential if that person's very needy or if they require a lot of that attention, or someone that knows you're a hustler and things like that. It makes a big difference, at least for me, I've noticed.
You definitely. So listen, she was the right person at the right time for me and for my business. She, my ex-wife, and my kids' mom, and she's just a sweet soul, and everybody wants to tear their ex-wife apart. I don't think I'd be where I'm at without her. So I'm totally comfortable with making sure that any wealth I have is wealth that she has too, and that goes the same as the next chapter of my life. I've got a significant other, Izzy, and
Hi, Izzy.
we do things together. And that's how it's got to be. It's if you don't align on the fact that I grind today, yesterday, and every day in the future of my life, I grind. And if you don't like that, and Izzy's perspective is well, I'll grind with you. Let's go.
That's great.
And that's pretty cool. I'm going to tell you one thing though. When I first got divorced, before I was in a relationship, people ask me, man, I'm trying to build my business. I'm trying to scale my business. I'm trying to do this. And I can read people pretty quick, but like people around here in Arizona that are asking me for advice, younger guys or whatever, first question I ask is, are you in downtown Scottsdale? Because that's a distraction.
I agree.
That's a distraction on business. And if you can't get your ass out of there, you're not going to be able to grow your business with those distractions. If you can't eliminate the distractions, then you aren't going to be able to grow as fast as the people that can.
I agree 100%. Alcohol plays a big role in that. I think it's a killer for business. Drugs even worse. You getting pulled in, just the bottle girls here in Scottsdale and all the other crap, chasing pussy, basically.
Shit, they're beautiful in trouble.
Exactly.
I listened to one of your shorts. You started out as a dispatcher.
Yep.
And you were sitting there and you said, hey, I don't know much about this. I'm dispatching, but it'd be better if I got another job driving the truck.
Yeah.
You continue dispatching and you
drove on the weekends.
And that's that's my mindset. When I started working in restaurants, I worked at a resort, and I wanted to be a server really quick. And I was in the kitchen, and I was like, how do I get out there? These guys are making $80K a year serving at this nice restaurant, this resort. I was like, so I got a side job at a place that would let me serve, a shitty place, but I got it, so that I could get the experience. And I was serving within a year with these guys that had been serving, 20 years. But that was like kind of my shortcut to figuring out that job, was taking other jobs in the same field. And I like that. When I listened to your thing, I was like, hey, that's great advice. You have a lot of really good advice. I could watch a lot of your shorts over and over. I was watching this morning before I came in. So you started truck driving. Did you like that part of it, that aspect of being, because it doesn't sound like you ended up being a truck driver by the time you sold, you were kind of running the business?
Well, I mean, it's a multi-million-dollar business. You have hundreds of employees. It keeps you out of the truck, but I still, the last month, as regularly as I could, I had a really good executive team. As regularly as I could, I would get in the truck and go load to load every once in a while and get out there with my drivers. It just got a little bit more and more difficult as the business got bigger and bigger.
All right, fun questions now. Okay, so you're driving a truck, and those things on the side of the road that are full of sand when you're going really far down? Have you ever done that?
A runaway ramp.
Have you ever done that?
No, I've never done that, but I've felt
It looks awesome.
I've felt like I've been close.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I've been close. I did catch some brakes on fire once going down. Anybody that's ever drove through Barstow, the tallest thermometer in the world, has anybody ever heard it? You guys ever heard? Google it. The tallest thermometer in the world, I think it's in Barstow, California.
Yeah.
There's a pretty good hill that comes down into Barstow, and I was pretty heavy, and I didn't start shifting my gears down when I was up at the top of the hill. I just cruised down because I wanted to try to make up time, and I started hauling ass, and I couldn't slow the truck down, and there was smoke and flames coming out of the side of them damn brakes. It was talk about a pucker moment.
I can imagine.
But I don't even know on that hill if there is a runaway ramp. But if there was, I probably would have took that son of a bitch.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you were never in a like a wreck or anything crazy?
Not in a semi truck. I mean.
Okay. Yeah. I was talking about semi trucks.
Not in a semi truck. No, but the truck line that I sold to Red Bull, we would budget for major accidents like quarterly, and some of the saddest moments of my life were when I would lose the first time it happened, and then as the company got bigger and bigger, it happened a little bit more often. But the first time it happened, when I lost a friend of mine who was driving truck for us, God rest his soul, RJ, and
that's a good truck name.
Having to go and tell his wife what had happened. And every time, I never want to forget about it. I want it fresh on my brain all the time. But every time I think about it, it tears me up. Having to tell his wife, and then his family asked for me to speak at his funeral, and having to look over his family and know that he was out there, committing himself to making sure we had groceries on the shelf, and committing himself to lining my pockets. It was a very difficult day for me, and I've lost some other really good drivers after that too. I remember the very first one that happened sticks with me, and it was really hard.
Do you have a little PTSD from that?
I don't know if you call it PTSD or not, but every time I think about it or talk about it, I feel like I got to force myself to talk about it, because he deserves that and his family deserves that, but it's really rough.
I guess I meant, does it mess with your nerves when you're driving, knowing that you've had friends die driving? Is that not really?
Nah.
That would mess with me a little.
I mean, I've had friends that died in plane crashes and helicopter crashes too, and I'm a helicopter pilot and an airplane pilot as well. So,
no way.
I mean, I think you just get numb to some of that stuff, but
do you have a helicopter?
Yeah.
Around here?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I just flew it, yesterday or the day before from Salt Lake. I was up in Salt Lake with Chuck Liddell. You guys remember Chuck Liddell?
Oh, yeah.
So I was up in Salt Lake with Chuck Liddell. Iceman, and then another friend of mine, BJ Baldwin. Shout out to BJ Baldwin. He's like the winningest rally truck driver on the planet, and more than that, he's just a badass.
So you took a helicopter from here
down here to Utah. Yeah, I have a.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go to that one. That was a man retreat. So
How is he? Is he scary flying?
Oh, not at all. No, I trust him so much.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess if you can handle one of those big rigs, you should be able to handle a helicopter, right?
Oh shit, I can drive or fly anything. Just bring it.
I'm just thinking Wolf of Wall Street. You know where he's landing the helicopter?
Yeah,
That's a kick-ass show.
I know, right?
I want to meet that Jordan Belford one of these days.
I know. He's awesome.
He'd be a badass.
Great marketing guy, too.
Yeah, just a genius.
Do you feel like, in terms of growing your business, what was kind of the key step in terms of doing that? Was it marketing? Was it what do you think you did that other people don't do?
Well, listen, I think in blue collar especially, I can't speak to like in the medical field or anything else. I think a lot of blue collars alike, you can't build a successful blue collar business if you don't, number one, develop your skill, your trade, right?
Yep.
And then number two, you have to develop the soft skills. And I think there's a lot of people that don't develop those soft skills, and they just get lucky and they get a lot of work, and so they're in construction and they get a little more money, but they've left behind the soft skills. And I'm talking skills like sales, negotiation,
Yep.
Being able to overcome objections, to being able to be adaptable. I heard a quote once that if you're adaptable, you'll never have a bad day. And while I was growing that business, I had to be very adaptable. It was one challenge after another. So, people need to, if they're wanting to launch their business, in my opinion, or they're wanting to grow or scale their business, I think they need to reverse back a little bit and think about the basics, even though they think they might be too basic. You need to think back at those basics and see if there's things that they're weak on, like salesmanship.
Yep.
I was negotiating finance deals on trucks and lines of credit and acquisitions and everything else when I didn't have a window or a pot to piss in, but I was just really good at negotiations.
Yep.
and selling people on me and why I was the best choice.
Could you give me some advice if I'm trying to be better at selling my business? I'm a carpenter. I have a carpentry business, and I do good. Anyone that hits me up, I get to sell. But I would say just from you, if anything off the top of your head, you got advice for me?
On getting it ready to sell?
For selling my work. For example, I sold a job the other day. I did like $3,500 job at a bar. I just like hanging some decorations they wanted.
Well, the strategies that I used to scale and grow my truck line business over the last 10 or 12 years, well, it was 2 years ago I sold it, and then it took me about 10 years to get it to the point where I sold it, are a little bit different than the world we live in today. If I was to do it today, I would be forced into doing some things a little bit different. Number one, your ass got to be on social media every day.
I agree.
Every job, you got to take a picture of the before after. You got to talk your way through it. And then the other thing too is the world is different. People that you might say, well, I'm a carpenter and I'm really good at doing this, and I'm not going to tell anybody my tricks. I think the world's different. Show people your tricks, teach them how to do it, and more people will follow you. More people will like what your content is out there. But the world of social media is how I would sell and scale any business, including blue collar today. There's a lot of blue collar businesses out there, even your construction business, and even the trucking business, the construction business that I was in, that I think you'd be surprised how many guys I don't know about Jerome, but maybe grew up in New York City, they went to med school, and they don't have a fucking clue what a 16-inch center is, right? So if you explained that to him on, he could operate on somebody in the medical room, but if you explain that on social media, you become interesting, right? Because you know shit that, believe it or not, other people don't know.
You're right. I should do a video on just hanging a picture.
Just hanging it. Oh shit!
It's nuts. People can't hang a picture.
You should see me hanging a picture. It's great.
I honestly feel like having just the blue collar thing in general is great because I come from a background of just construction, and my dad worked my ass off when I was young. I was in there doing construction, crawling under spaces, crawling in areas, I was doing electrical stuff, using the backhoe, all that kind of shit, And anyways, I worked so hard during that time, and I was like, I don't want to be doing this shit my entire life because this is terrible. You're busting your ass off every day. You come home tired, and I was coming home tired. Even though I wanted to get out of that, it's a different aspect now that I'm a doctor. I still come home tired but stressed out more so rather than having my hands
mentally drained.
Yeah, rather than having calluses on my hands and bleeding hands and things like that. It's a whole different aspect. But one of the things that I liked that you said is adapting to basically kind of as time kind of goes on. With technology now, AI, all these different marketing systems.
AI is a
everything.
big one, yeah.
Yeah, it's what worked for you probably wouldn't work for some other people, and the person that they are type thing. So right now, I see you doing a lot of social media and other things. Are you just trying to like help people kind of build and understand and try to improve?
Yeah. I'm on a mission to build the fastest growing outreach blue collar community to help impact and create as many blue collar millionaires as I can.
Awesome.
And so we have a community that people join in. It's a membership community. They get mentored by me. But reality, once a week there's a coach on there to teach different things. I mean, I became wealthy because all the people I surrounded myself with.
Yep.
So I want to surround my community with the people that helped level me up. The people that explained to me how to read a financial statement, how to explain to me marketing, how they explained AI to me, and these people, and it's really kind of a shame, but it's how the world works. Once you get wealthier and wealthier, doors open up for you, and knowledge and relationships open up for you that would have never opened up for the hardworking blue collar guy. Yep. Well, I want to take those doors that have opened up for me, and I want to open them up for those guys. I want to say, hey, meet my friend, let me connect you to, and so we're getting tons and tons of people that join that community on a daily basis, and we intend on growing it into thousands, and then we also do live events, speaking events. And
is it more local right now, or is it?
I mean, we're in like 7 different stages in 7 different states here.
Okay.
And we've already done one or two of those, but we're all over the place. We'll go anywhere we can have an impact and inspire and teach, and champion blue collar. I mean, at the end of the day, we're the blue and the red, white, and blue, right?
Yep.
Anywhere we can do that, we'll listen. Any podcast that's got a good outreach that will help us spread our message, we'll go.
We're here to spread it, brother.
Love it.
Hey, I gotta talk about Old Town again.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So listen, Scottsdale's great. It's a party place, and people get a little scared. You even said, "Hey, you're young. You shouldn't be out in Old Town every night. You should be." Listen, while you're home, while you're getting up early, I hear this all the time. People are like, "Oh, you're sleeping, and I'm up early working." Well, I'm out late working while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out with Young Thug. I'm hanging out with, you name it.
Yeah.
Jordan Belfort, you name the person, I'm hanging out with them while you're home sleeping.
Yep.
So I just want to just come at you with that real quick. I don't know if you ever heard it from that angle. So he called me a club rat or whatever you want. I managed clubs. It was a little different than someone just going out all the time. But it is funny. You got me thinking a lot about how that type of networking is been really good for me. And so Old Town Scottsdale, do you go out much? I think like you said, you can get sucked in the wrong way, but
there's a couple of different things here. Usually the guy with the biggest pocketbook gets stuck with the fucking bill when he goes to Old Town. These guys like you and Louie, they know who to bring the fucking check to, right?
Hell yeah.
And then you get a little buzz on, and so and
everyone's lost their wallets.
And everybody's lost their wallets, but then you also got girls in the booth and your friends and their girls and this, and you're like, oh yeah, give it to me. And then the next morning you wake up, you're like, what? I spent 60 fucking grand last night? I mean, so I avoid it for that reason. But I've been out. I'll go out there occasionally, but on the mission that I'm on right now, I can't afford to lose 2 days of my life, and you lose the day you're out drinking and the day you're recovering, and I just can't do that right now.
All right, well, you've traveled everywhere, dude. So where else is Old Town, do you think? Compare us a little. I hate to ask you this question, but just the other places you've traveled to
that I like
compared to Old Town, the scene we have going on there.
Oh,
there's nothing like it, huh?
There is no club environment like Old Town that you'll ever been to. Listen, you'll find me frequenting Old Town again when I own one of them damn clubs, because those are the guys that are making. Those guys are making some money. But let me just give a shout out to Nashville. I mean, that's one of my favorite towns. I'm a country boy. I love Nashville. I like to go to the CMAs every year, and those people that are in Nashville and Austin, Texas. I really, in fact, we're going to be in Austin at a speaking event here coming up in a couple weeks. there's a pretty good chance we'll end up downtown in Austin screwing off for a little bit at least.
I feel like Austin's very similar to Nashville.
We got to
in
go to
some
Austin.
sense.
I've never been to
Like
Austin.
the same vibe, you know.
It's a real similar vibe to Nashville, but you're right. I've been to a lot of major cities. I'd be interesting to question your viewers and see what they think, but I don't even know that Miami compares to Old Town Scottsdale.
It's just what it
Old
is.
Town Scottsdale is the vortex is,
Yes.
it's like something you've never seen before.
I know. Yeah, the first time I ever came here, I was like, just wow, you know. But that's also when, like, kind of similar to like you said you went to Old Town when you were divorced and
Yeah.
things like that. That's kind of what happened. I was in a 7-year relationship, came to Old Town, met some friends, and I was like, holy shit,
And
you know.
you're the physician.
And
of
I
the
had
group.
some money. I was like, all right,
You're
let's
the
go.
physician of the group, and you get the tab.
I dropped.
I don't leave home without Jerome.
I left a lot of money there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That's stupid, but
we all did.
I enjoyed it. But the time
good
is over.
stuff.
But I'm on a growth mission. I like to get up early in the morning and cold plunge. I jog and lift weights every day, and now I'm trying to stay young so I can keep up with Izzy. She's quite a bit younger than me, and she's not going to keep me around very long if I don't stay in shape.
How old are
Izzy,
you? How old are you
yeah.
now?
I'm 44 and she's 30.
Where are you from, Izzy?
14 years.
Vancouver, Canada.
Of course you are.
Yeah,
Wow,
but-
we just get these Vancouver people down here in Scottsdale. Don't you think we have a pretty big Vancouver crowd?
I think there's a lot of Canadians.
My
here,
best
yeah.
friend Rez is from Vancouver. Everyone's Canadians love Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There is a lot of
Don't you
Canadians that
know?
come through.
She lived in Florida for a while. She'd probably take Florida
Tampa.
over Arizona.
Yeah,
You like Florida better than Arizona?
I love Florida, but I love Arizona too.
Okay, yeah. Well, the weather's just getting good. How long have you lived here?
This is her first year.
Yeah,
So you just made it through that insane summer, and of course it's all hundreds this week too.
Yeah, her family. She has family that has a house here that they visit here in the winter, or they spend quite a bit of time here. That's how she migrated to this place. But this is kind of all new for her.
Cool. What do you go out much in Scottsdale?
Well, he took me there on our first date.
Stop.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
don't know if I should say that.
Hey, we
but
really we're not going to talk at all.
I had never been there ever, and that was my first experience.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
and it was it wasn't our whole first date though. He took
went
me
somewhere
to
else first,
Took
right?
me to a country concert, and then we went there, and I was like, "Whoa,
Which
this is
concert?
Wild."
Chris
Chris
Stapleton.
Stapleton.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Which spot did you guys go to first? Do you remember?
I remember.
Because that's where he's going to propose.
Maybe Kate.
Yeah,
Cake?
we went
I think-
to Cakes,
think that was the
Casamigos,
name.
Casamigos. The whole
Yeah, yeah.
gamut is we like them all. But Scottsdale, let's just say this. Shout out to Scottsdale. Outside of the clubs and Vortex, per square, per area has got to have some of the most kick-ass restaurants.
Oh, I agree 100%.
I mean, Toca. I guess there's a Toca Madera's
Toca's
other
great.
place, but Toca
the
Madera,
best one.
Nobu. There's a lot of kick-ass shit restaurants here in Scottsdale.
You're right.
I agree.
You're right.
When I was I've lived in New Mexico, Indiana, barbecue everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
And anyways, came here and I was like, yeah, I went to Roka Akur, I went to Sushi Roku back in the day,
Yeah.
whatever, Mastro's, Ocean 44, everything. I was like, God damn, there's a lot of nice choices here,
A
you
lot
know.
of good choices.
And every single time I was bringing a bunch of people and they would all
Yeah.
How do you maintain your diet when you're driving? On
yeah.
a truck
Oh,
driver?
very, very difficult when you're driving truck. It can be done now. But when I was driving, it was hard as hell. Now you can order those pre-made meals, and there's microwaves in those trucks, and it's expensive to eat out on the road. So everybody might look at those pre-made meals as too expensive, but compared to going into the truck stop and eating, I think they're pretty comparable.
Yeah.
It's easier to regulate your diet now. I think there's less. It's just like anything else. It gets to be less and less excuses.
Yeah.
But on the road today, I think you need to be ordering pre-made meals and keep your ass out of the pronto puff at the truck stop and what do they call them? Tornadoes, the little tornadoes in the cooker at the truck stop. But listen, one thing that I did is I was so hungry to make money that I would literally have to piss for I'm probably going to have problems when I'm older, but I literally would have to piss for 6 hours, but I wouldn't pull over because that it takes too much time to shift all the gears down, pull over side of the road, take a piss, and then get back on. And same thing with eating. I would chew bag of sunflower seeds, or I would eat crumbs off the floor because I didn't want to. I was too determined to keep going and make money, and so eating was not a priority to me.
Yeah.
When I got out of the Army, my first trip was 20 hours. I drove to. I got hired here in Scottsdale. The day I got out of the Army, I went on Craigslist, found somewhere hiring, and they go, "You got to be here for the interview at 8 a.m. tomorrow." I was like, "Well, shit." I was visiting my sister in Louisiana, so I had to drive straight here, and that's the longest I've driven. And the way I did it was I would go to the gas station. It's 20 hours. I'd go to the gas station, start pumping the gas, go pee, grab an energy drink, come back, get in, drive, do that.
Yep.
20 hours. What's your longest stretch, and then how did you?
Oh fuck! I've driven sunrise through the day, through the whole night, clear into the next night before when I was driving semi truck, and that that'll eventually start getting you. Like you start getting into me and Ozzy Osbourne. He helped me out so much. I need to thank him for keeping me awake on Crazy Train. For keeping me awake on some of those long drives. You can't do that in a semi truck now because they have electronic logs. Back then you had paper logs and you could just rip them out and throw them away.
So they'll shut the truck off on you now?
Yeah, the truck will shut down. Yeah.
Damn. So what do they let you drive now before they shut your truck down?
You could drive 10 hours, then you have to have certain breaks every so often. So a 14-hour shift and you can drive 10 hours.
So when I see these trucks just stuck on the side of the road, that's probably what happened.
They could be having to pull over to shut down.
We get a lot of I go to Tucson a lot, and we get a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
And I see sometimes we'll have traffic stuck, and I'll see 20 trucks just pulled over.
We're going to Tucson tomorrow. We're flying the helicopter down to Tucson.
I need to get my passport.
I would visit my mom more.
Yeah.
Western Passport Office.
She lived down in Tucson?
She does, yeah. If I had a helicopter, I never visit her. It's too long of a drive, and that drive is dangerous.
2-hour drive.
Look who I'm talking to here.
So one question I had about the whole trucking business, I forget what that movie is. Where's that?
Maximum Overdrive?
Where they're like on CBs and just like some guy is like coming after people, whatever. Have you seen that movie?
That sounds like Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandits. Oh shit! I loved Smokey.
Junior.
I loved Smokey and the Bandits. That show was kick ass.
Yeah.
But then there was another one, Maximum Overdrive, and the trucks got haunted, and they were like circling around.
I'll have to watch that.
You'll have to watch that one. And then the other one that's a big one in my memory bank from when I was young it's called Over the Top. And Sylvester Stallone drove truck, and he was just a ripped badass. He had cable poles behind his seat, and he would just pull on these, and then he would get in arm wrestling competitions. And if you won the arm wrestling, I mean, the whole movie was about this. And if you won the arm wrestling competition, you got a new semi truck.
Nice.
And it over the top. That movie really had an impression on me. That's for sure.
Do people still use CBs these days in terms of truckers?
Oh yeah.
Really?
There's not like apps on your phone now?
Nah, there's still CB radios out there.
I have one in my car out there.
A CB radio?
Yeah.
What do you use as your CB radio?
I have a Cobra. I don't use it ever.
Well,
I just have had it in there for like, because
they
were cool back in the day. It was fun to be driving to Tucson to see my mom. It was great to talk to the trucks.
Yeah, that's what
I lost the antenna.
That's what what do the girls say when you're driving through? The hell town is it in Nevada? Wells, Nevada. If you drive through Wells, Nevada at nighttime, the ladies at the whorehouse get on the CB radio, and my truck line was called Super T, and they could see it because it was all over the side of the truck line, all over the trailer, and they'd say, "Hey, Super T, free coffee, conversation, no obligation." They'd talk to you on CB radio, try to get you to come over to the whorehouse, and they'd say, Free corn dogs, no obligation. Just come, let us serve you.
All code.
Oh, they're coaxing you in on the CB radio hard.
That's good stuff.
They still probably do that today.
That's early OnlyFans, man.
Yeah.
My little brother lives in Prescott, and I was asking the other day, I was like, man, when do you ever get laid? There's no girls up there. And he's the one that started telling me about lot lizards.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, well, we got lot lizards. So I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
so can you tell us a little bit about lot lizards?
Oh shit, man. Lot lizards. I've seen some winners. I mean, how deep you want me to get in my lot lizard stories?
Did any of them have teeth?
Oh, is that level?
No, there was. I've seen some.
Have you seen a hot lot lizard?
Never.
A hot lizard?
Never. No, if that was a hot lot lizard, she'd be somewhere else.
Okay, fair enough.
But the lot lizards, for those that don't know, are prostitutes that hang out at truck stops to take care of the drivers, and they're usually
Someone's got, bless their heart.
they're usually
helping the community.
they're usually at a discount, and I don't know their prices. I never asked. My thing is I wanted them. I was always scared that when they would knock on my door of my truck, that one of my other fellow truckers would see them walking away from my truck.
Yeah.
So immediately when I'd see him, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Don't even, and I didn't even want him close to my truck because the perception if somebody seen him walking away from my truck. So I wanted him clear the hell out of there. But listen, they have families to feed too. So, but I didn't want to help.
That's good.
Did you know what a lot with Lizard was, Izzy?
I've heard of that before.
You
Yes,
have?
surprisingly.
Yeah.
Does he let you fly the helicopter?
No, I help with the navigation and
Oh,
the
no way.
radios a little bit.
So you're getting good at that?
Yeah.
She does the navigation and the radios. Yeah,
Yeah.
she
You
helps
talk
out.
to the tower?
Well, I do the talking, but she puts in all the right frequencies and stuff for each airport and air traffic control and everybody we got to talk to. She programs that all in.
All right. Well, you said when you fly your helicopter, you compared it to running a business. You have all these gauges that you got to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Or the helicopter's not
All
going to
the
fly.
vitals.
Working in the restaurant industry, one of our gauges is everyone uses the POS, and we see exactly what the sales are at this second. How many people, all the numbers you need to see. What your labor is a really important gauge.
Yeah.
So for your current job, which is, it seems to be coaching.
Yeah. We're a blue collar community business and coaching business, mentor business.
Okay.
Yep.
What are some gauges for that business?
Well, clearly we're looking at the amount of members that we're getting into our union.
How do you look at that?
Well, we've got a software system that pulls up and sees how many transactions, how many people join the union. The union, it's not a real union. I'm against real union, but it's a community, right? And we can see who clicked and put in their credit card and joined the membership of our community. But we look at ad spend, so we spend a lot of ads. So what was the ROI on this spend as far, how many community members? We also do event sales, for major events, speaking events, and sales tickets. So we look at spend on Facebook ads, Google ads, in comparison to conversion rate to convert people to join our community. Everything else, those are key performance metrics that we look at.
It's kind of interesting seeing a contractor talk about these metrics.
Yeah.
Just having my family, because I've dealt with all that stuff now because I have a few businesses. But anyways, I was talking to my dad about that type of stuff, and he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I was like, "You need to get this going on with your construction business, man."
Yeah.
But it's a whole different game. How did you kind of get how are you learning? How did you learn about this? Do you have people helping surround you with this type of thing, or do you do it yourself? Or
yeah. I've got a kick-ass team that fortunately I've got a little money to invest in the development of the business. I've got a lot of influential friends. I got friends. Andy Elliott, shout out to my boy Andy Elliott's one of the fastest growing sales mentor in the world. He's a really good friend of mine. In fact, we're leaving day after tomorrow to go.
How'd you guys meet?
To Mexico with him. Well, we both are transplants into Arizona, number one, and we met from.
He loves Arizona. I hear him say it.
He lives here in Arizona now, and we met from another mutual friend, Maria and Bryson. Shout out to Maria and Bryson. I met them, and they said, "Hey, do you know Andy? I think you guys had hit it off," and they introduced us, and we hit it off. So he's in the same industry, just not in. He's in sales primarily and leadership, and we're in blue collar business growth, but. I got some really big badasses that surround me and work for me and help the development and the growth of this business.
Nice.
If I were to subscribe to your blue collar, what are some gauges to show me that it's worth it?
Well, number one, you're gonna have a overwhelming feeling that you're gonna want to change your life because you're surrounded with winners in this. There isn't anybody in here that doesn't want to elevate themselves. So we have all sorts of posts. It's, think about it like a growth community, and I'm talking about growth in business, growth in education in business, growth in education in family and fitness and faith. And you go in there and read the articles in there. Your gut feeling is going to be, okay, this is what I needed. I needed that mental article to get my shit together and do this. And then once a week we have coaches, so you're going to step away from that coaching once a week, and then we save those 1 hour coaching webinars in there so you can watch them at any time. But you're going to walk away from there and you're going to say, holy shit, I had no idea that's how AI could impact my blue collar business. So look, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. The world we live in, it's $30,000 a year to go to conventional college, and conventional college is on the way out.
Yep.
People want to learn from other successful people. People want to learn the things that they need to have the biggest impact, the quickest impact in their business or their growth journey right then and there. They don't want to go fuck around for $30,000 a year for 4 years, do a bunch of credits that they don't necessarily need. Now, obviously, if you're in the medical field, that's different, and my son's fixing to go to law school, that's different, right? An accountant, there's some different things. But definitely in the blue collar space, people want to learn in educational growth communities like mine, different than conventional ways.
That's just how it is. That's facts of what you're saying. Just from my experience, I went to college after high school, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was always in carpentry, so I went to I said this on the last podcast, building and construction technologies. And I was like, this is so boring. I already know how to do all this. What am I doing here? And I didn't know what I was in Tucson. So I dropped out and joined the Army, which was stupid as well. But I made it out alive. And
thanks for your service.
Appreciate that. But it's exactly what you said. I just didn't have a use for college. For me personally, for my blue collar work that I do, it didn't really make sense for me.
Yeah.
I also think there's a big difference between learning from someone in a school and then learning from someone who's actually done this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for me, for example, as in terms of my medical businesses and medical spas, there was so much bullshit that I spent money on kind of throughout the years in terms of marketers who thought they knew what the hell they were doing. Just so much bullshit is really what it came down to. So if I knew now what when I first started my business, I would have skyrocketed immediately. So having that experience just goes a long way, and stuff that actually works. It feels like that's kind of what you're kind of preaching. Like
that's just it. We want to teach from. We want to learn. We want our community learn from people that have been down there, done that, and listen. I want to learn. And I grind it out every day. I'm going to be able to eat a Kobe steak for the rest of my life, but I still grind it out as if I'm not. Right? And I want to continue to learn, and I want to continue to grow, and I want to learn from those people that have been down that road. And I don't want to learn from their wins. I want to learn from their fucking failures.
Exactly.
And the smartest people in the world that call me up and want to ask me for advice, they're the people that ask me about some of my failures.
Yep.
And those are the people that are ready to accelerate their growth journey, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Izzy, what do you do for work?
I work with Heath.
You work with Heath? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I work as the
She's our office manager, yep.
I help do all the events.
Where's the
and
office?
The merch.
Gilbert, Arizona.
Oh, how do you guys like Gilbert?
Love Gilbert.
I love Gilbert.
That town's blowing up.
Yeah, it is.
Insane. They're getting a bottle blonde in Gilbert, I heard.
Are they? Is that there was a sandbar that shut down. They're rebuilding it into backyard, which I like backyard. That'll be pretty cool to have.
Yeah, same company.
Yeah.
Gilbert's blowing up.
EG's growing massively. It's nuts.
Did you park your helicopter at the airport there? Or?
I park it at in the Chandler Airport. Yeah, we're fixing to put my house up for sale here this fall. I have a nice house there in Gilbert because we want to build on the airport so we can just land it at my house.
Chandler Airport's pretty awesome.
That would be badass.
Nice. Yeah, I want to land. So I landed at my house. I park it at my house in Idaho. I have a house in Idaho as well. I land it and park it at my house in Idaho. But here, I park it about 2 miles away from our house and in a hangar there in Chandler.
So, yeah, I had a buddy that had a airplane on that Chandler Airport.
Yeah.
You literally just pull into your garage.
Yep.
The airplane.
Yeah,
in your house.
Yeah, it's badass. Cool.
Yep. You said you were a soccer player?
Yes, I was. That's all I did my whole life, pretty much. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Born with a soccer ball.
When you're a soccer player, I don't know anything about soccer, so sorry. What position? Do you have positions?
I was a center midfielder.
Okay, what does that person do?
So you're basically the playmaker. You get the ball like all over the field. You run a lot. You score goals. You defend. So you're kind of doing everything.
Messi, all these big names, that's what they are?
Yeah, I love Messi.
What is it called? The center fielder?
Center midfielder.
Center midfielder is basically what all the big guys are?
A lot of them,
Since you're the guy doing all the work with the ball?
Yeah, playmaker pretty much.
You're the playmaker, the center field maker.
Yeah, and I do love Messi. I've seen him play in Barcelona, so he's...
Oh, you've been to a game in Barcelona?
I have, yeah. I got to travel.
Were there any fights?
There were no fights. They actually don't serve alcohol at any of the games in Europe because they're
Smart.
so passionate.
Smart.
So
and
I think that
stupid at the
probably
same
helps
time.
for sure.
Yeah, losing a lot of money, but at least they're not getting the stadium burnt down every game.
Yeah, that's true. You played overseas a little bit in your life too, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I played with the U.S. team growing up. So
you're really good. So when's the last time you were out on the field?
oh gosh, a couple of years ago actually. So I coached also, and
Okay.
yeah.
So that's where you were a couple of years. You were coaching.
I was
years ago?
coaching. Yeah.
Who were you coaching?
I was
Canadians?
coaching. Well, I was coaching in Florida actually for
Oh,
a
okay.
private school there, and then I also do personal trainings with kids.
How did you like coaching?
I loved it. I love being on the field. It's like everyone kind of has their happy place. For me, like playing soccer is 100% like where I just thrive, and I'm just so happy. So
I've always wondered why in the United States, like I feel like the United States is the only place that it's not like as popular as the rest of the world, you know?
well, for women's soccer, it's probably the most popular place.
really?
So,
So
the
we
U.S.
have the most
women's
popular
national
women's-
team
okay.
is like the top team in the world.
What's that big soccer player that just is it Alex Morgan? Did Alex
Yeah.
Morgan just retire?
Yeah, Alex Morgan just retired.
And you played with her, right?
Played with her. I've
What teams did you
assisted a
play?
goal.
with? You assisted a goal to her.
Yes.
What teams did she play for?
We played together on the Seattle Sounders team in Seattle. I
professional
grew up
team.
in Seattle. I
Shit.
played soccer at University of Washington, and then I played for the.
You played for the Seattle Sounders?
Yes.
Are they still there?
They're the Reign now.
Okay.
Yeah, but
My sister lives in Seattle. I gotta tell her that's cool.
oh wow, yeah.
I met someone that played for the Sounders.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
badass. I know. It's crazy to think, that I date a ex-professional athlete, but I'm reminded of it every day when we jog together. Holy shit! She could run
He's getting good
all
though.
day and all
Really?
night and all
Yeah.
day. Like
I
I
gotta
can
start
drive truck
running.
all day and all night and all day. She could jog.
Damn.
Better not do anything crazy. She might kick you in the nuts too, man.
Yeah, she gets. I've seen some video of her getting pretty feisty on the field when people don't do what they're supposed
really?
to do.
Well,
So she was all when you recruited to University of Washington. What other schools? Do you remember what other schools you could have went and played for?
Yeah, I don't know. UNC, pretty much UCLA, Stanford, University of Miami.
So you're
both
badass.
years
Top,
of
Yeah, you're good.
top what recruit in the nation when you came out of school?
number 7 recruit.
Yeah.
top 7 recruit in the nation. That's pretty.
yeah.
That's pretty
pretty good.
kick-ass.
Yeah, it brought me a lot of opportunities I wouldn't have had, so I'm super grateful for it.
That's awesome. I could imagine it took a lot of work too to get there.
That's all I did. I didn't go to dances.
That was your life, basically.
That was literally all I did. Yeah.
Are you gonna find another team around here to coach?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't
Okay.
know.
She's
yeah.
looking, okay, you guys.
Yeah, maybe for fun, but
You
I'm
guys are
enjoying
busy.
doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're,
No, just extracurricular. I play a little softball on the side. So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it.
No, I'd do it for fun for sure.
Yeah.
I might have to hire you. Yeah.
Teach your
Okay.
soccer.
What I do one time I started a softball team around here and I got some of my MLB buddies.
Yeah.
I hired them. Like I had this one guy Nate Scherzer. He'd won like 3 World Series. It was really messed up. We won every single game. So I just like finding people that are good at things and then like,
Oh, she's.
hey, come be on my team.
Yeah, she's a
I feel like that's
she's a
smart.
freaking athlete. I don't like to be on her team because she gets feisty. I'm like, fuck, we're just having a good time on the
competitive
cornhole
is it?
boards tonight. She's like,
Chill.
don't fucking miss that hole again. I'm like, oh shit, well, this is real here. I'm just a trucker.
I'm gonna stack a 6 soccer team. You'll see. I'll have the best coach in town. It'll be awesome. All right.
So in terms of Scottsdale, like what are some of your favorite places to go out and eat and stuff?
What, do you have a favorite place?
What's that Italian place?
I like
that we
Marcelino.
love?
Shout out to Marcelino's.
So good.
Marcelino is a friend of mine. Anybody watching this when you're in Scottsdale, if you want the best Italian food, Marcelino's is the place to be. He's actually there
He's
all
always
the time.
there.
Where is he?
He's cooking. It's
Right there by Barstool.
Okay.
yeah, right by Barstool, across from Drunk Monk. And his wife is just a saint. She's there all the time too. She sings once or twice a week in
So
there.
good.
Her name's Seema.
That's a good spot. That's really a hidden gem, even though it's in the middle of everything. So
Yep.
there's not a lot of walking traffic there.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome. I go there once every few years, but I should go more often. Try it out.
Great Italian place. And then, obviously the regulars like Nobu and Toca Madera, who doesn't like. You know what I want to try is that new hotel that's right below Camelback. What's the name? What's the
Global.
old school, the Global
So
Ambassador. I heard they've got some really good cooking there too.
They're on it. They just got a Michelin
Great environment,
rating.
actually.
They're really, really
Yeah,
good. Great.
we need to go there, baby. That sounds like a great place.
Just, if anything, for the views, but they don't have any bad food there. All their food's great.
Really.
Yeah, upstairs is all Mediterranean, and downstairs they have the best burger in town.
Mediterranean, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Me and Joel like this place, an Italian place. Since you guys mentioned Italian, is was it Leame? Or what is it?
No, we're gonna give you guys a good one, okay?
What's that one?
More El Amore.
El Amore, yeah.
El Amore, remember that.
Thank me later, okay?
Write
So
that
good.
down, camera
Thank
guys.
me
El
later on that
Amore.
one. Just as good as Marcelino's, just as good, I promise you. Marcelino will agree with that.
What's
Really?
like 32nd?
Yeah,
And
it's been
Lincoln,
around
right?
as long, about 30 years. Same thing. The owner's
Yeah.
always there.
Great guy, yeah.
So good. So yeah, that is a place you can't get in. They're always
Takes a long
booked.
time.
Just got to meet the owner when you go in one of these days, and he's really nice. So then you just got to like find, hey, can you get me a table?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Mastro's environment, but yeah, the food's so good.
Yeah, we'll have to check. We'll have to check that out. But there's lots of kick-ass. We've been on a binge of finding good. If you know of any good breakfast places on the outskirts, we flew the helicopter up to a breakfast place. We went and hovered over Lake Pleasant and went up through Lake Pleasant through a canyon and dropped out at the backside of this canyon and to this hole in the wall breakfast restaurant. I don't even remember, Big Pie or something like that. Right off of I-17 up there up the hill, and there was a big enough opening to land, so we just landed and rolled in there for breakfast. So we're on a mission to find hidden little gems that we can take the helicopter to.
So
I can
breakfast.
imagine because you have to land in specific areas, and is
Not
there any
with the
kind?
helicopter. We can land. I mean, by the time anybody comes to complain
it's
about us, we're gone. So
That's good stuff.
yeah, we'll land that at some random places. We'll find a good swimming hole someplace in the middle of the desert and land and swim. It's fun.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
What a man! I want a helicopter now. That's so good.
Oh, you'll have to come out with us. We'll take you.
All right. You heard him.
I know you should have landed it right here, man.
Yeah, it's a little
I know,
tight
it's-
in
I
here.
know.
I did land it in a guy's in Utah. Shout out to my friend Red Suit Realtor. I landed in the backyard at his house.
Oh, really?
A couple days ago. They're like, I don't know, can you land that in there? I'm like, fuck yes, I can. I can land that in your backyard. I just landed in his backyard.
Are you a car guy at all?
Yeah, I love cars, of course. Yeah, I've got, I've had Bentleys, I've had Lamborghinis. Right now, I don't have any newer sports cars other than my G-Wagon, but I have like a 1970 all original split bumper Z28 Camaro. You ever seen 21 Jump Street?
Oh yeah.
21, the silver Camaro on 21 Jump Street.
T-top.
It doesn't have a T-top, but it's that exact same car.
Oh, it is.
Nice.
And it's badass. It's a split bumper. Anybody who knows anything about Camaros knows that thing's worth some money. And then I have a 1966 all original convertible Chevelle SS with the original 396 engine in it.
Hell
I
yeah.
drive it.
That's badass.
I
What
drive
color
it to,
is that?
It's red.
I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah, it's badass. It's red. I drive it to the off. I'll drive it to the ball game. I'll drive it on the 202 and the 101. It's all original and it's been very well taken care of, and so it drives like it's brand new. Really,
Is it stick?
it's a stick. Yeah, it's 4-speed 396 SS, and it's really kick ass. And then let's see, I've got another one of my favorite vehicles is a 1986 square body Chevy short box square body pickup, and it's been completely redone.
I had one of those back in the day.
I don't know.
Badass. If you
That's a truck.
They're
it's
great trucks.
A pickup truck, yeah.
Great trucks.
Square body pickup truck, and I've had some other old cars, some other Chevelles or whatever. I was just telling Izzy the other day that I got an itch for maybe a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. I don't know. I hate spending money no matter what when the economy's bad. Even if you're like, yeah, I 100% could swing that, no problem.
We're good now.
But when the economy's bad, you still tend to like tighten up a little bit,
Yep.
We're on our way back. It's just gonna be so good.
Well, we'll see.
The
We'll see
manifesting.
how this election pans out.
That's gonna be everything,
if,
right?
If some people have their way about it, we're gonna have a dead ex-president before
Oh
you know
my
it.
God, man! What do you think about this whole
I
situation?
say it all the time. How is this guy still alive?
This guy is like an absolute warrior. I mean, and then to stand up, if you got shot at, would you stand up and wave your fist in the air? Like, I'd
thought
be
that
like
was-
cleaning my pants out.
I
I'd
thought
be
that
like,
was-
holy shit.
I'd
I
be
thought that
on the
was
ground.
wild.
I'd be on the ground.
I'd be
I'd
on
be
the ground.
belly crawling, I'd be belly crawling out of there.
Yeah,
But
same.
He stands up and, you could tell he just wanted to say, fuck you.
I thought it was so interesting. Just when the entire thing happened, I was just in shock. You know, he barely turned his head at the moment, and
Lucky bastard.
yeah, lucky as hell, man. If one little
Son of
inch, like it was nuts.
Yeah.
But
he says some things that I don't know how they let him live. The things he says, I'm like, whoa, he just said that. He'll talk about China. It's China you're talking to, dude. And he'll just go up at him and say, you guys are all
he's got so many enemies, but you know what? If you've said something that you believe in and you really stood up for something, you're going to have enemies, you know. And he's got a little bit of a salad out of the mouth sometimes. But I don't, you know, listen, this is how I look at it. If we're on a championship football team and you got the best quarterback in the world on your team, but he's the most annoying son of a bitch that won't shut his mouth, would you bench him in the championship game?
Yeah, of course not.
Fuck no, you'd put him in the game because he knows how to win the game for you. So that's how I look at it when people are like, I just wish he would shut up. So you're not going to vote him in because he does say some ridiculous shit. Sometimes you put the best quarterback in the game to get you the championship, regardless if he's an annoying bastard. You know.
Yep.
The thing is that he's on camera so often and he talks so much. I could only imagine like being in that position. Could you imagine the shit that we would say or like the dumb stuff that we would come up with?
Oh yeah.
In terms of the camera, like we would look like.
Yeah.
The media eats him up. It's great.
Oh, they like it. I think he likes to give him shit to talk about.
I think it's interesting.
How do you think? How do you like Musk's support for him? I mean, that's kind of cool. The richest guy in the world.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's great that RFK came into the whole situation as well.
I like RFK.
That was awesome.
So Izzy's a big health food nut, and RFK wants to clean bad food up, you know, red dye and seed oils and shit like that's illegal in Europe, you know. But we don't want to get Izzy going because
she's done a lot to clean up.
Go off.
I did teach him all this. I'm so
I love
proud.
that.
I thought she was crazy, but you know, she's onto something. She's probably right.
One of the interesting things I thought about, I saw him on a podcast. I think it was for like Joe Rogan or something, and this guy was just coming up with statistics and all this data. Like he's very well knowledgeable, and on every so much healthcare stuff. And me being a physician, I'm like, I didn't even know this shit. You know, I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, they study a lot.
Oh yeah, but it's pretty amazing.
What do you think about America's food ingredients? She's got me so brainwashed, and so I can't stop thinking about it. Now I go into the
all of it. I only eat vegetables.
Any big brand, I think is
I go into the
poison.
QT,
Yes.
I go into the QT or the Circle K, and I just want like a little Scooby treat, and now she's got me looking at the back of that, and I'm like, oh fuck.
That's my go-to, man.
I guess I'll just suck on my finger. I can't eat
it's
any
all
of
you
this
can
shit
do.
in
It's all
here,
you can do. I have gout, everything, just because of all the crap that I've eaten. So now I can only eat vegetables for the most part, and I'm not mad about it. It's a great thing that I'm stuck with. I can't eat red meat. I can't eat bread. I think it's all because of the processed foods that
processed food.
Putting it.
What do you think as a physician about that shit?
I think food does play a major role because I see diet play a big role in terms of just living in different areas of different states. For example, in Indiana, I was living there for a while, and it's like all barbecue, completely different vibe compared to Scottsdale. And heart disease is just crazy out there.
Yeah.
It was nuts just how many people were getting heart attacks, and how many. I was doing cardiology out there at the time, and it was just so slammed and crazy. But then in terms of coming towards Arizona and Scottsdale, it's not nearly as much. So diet does play a role. In terms of obesity, it's a lot bigger out there too.
In the Midwest,
in the Midwest,
Midwest,
it's way big of a problem. But diet also plays a role in terms of different Asian countries that people have different diets completely. So it does make a difference, and there are things in our food, and it is a thing. It's a whole different topic
something to pay
go off
attention
on
to.
For sure.
And RFK's all over that shit. And
oh yeah, for sure.
I really like a lot what he says, and I like Tulsi Gabbard too. I like a lot what she says. So let's go. I'm glad they joined the Trump campaign.
While I got you here, I want some more free advice.
Yeah.
Okay. Your schedule. How do you?
Friends are free.
How do you do your scheduling? I'm curious what your week is like. Do you have a thing you do every Monday every week? A thing you do every Tuesday every week? Do you have maybe a thing you do every day every week?
Yeah. So every day, there's a lot of aspects about every day that aren't the same, but the start of every day is mostly the same. Every day I get up and have a cup of coffee, and I putter on my phone for just a second, maybe 5-10 minutes, and I cold plunge. And every day I'm in the cold plunge for 3 minutes. I listen to 3 minutes of hard motivation in my ears, and when that 3 minutes is over, I get out and I get in the warm pool. I warm up, and then I go on a jog, and I jog 2 miles a day, and then I go lift weights. And typically, I'll have like 15-20 minutes in between all that to putter on my phone. And I'm in the office at 9 o'clock every day, unless I'm on travel. And then if I'm on travel, I still do the weights and do everything else, but I don't cold plunge because places don't have cold plunge. Yeah. That's about the biggest routine that I have. And Saturdays and Sundays, the exact same thing, but maybe just a little bit later in the morning. But my routine of cold plunging and exercising is like the mailman. I don't miss very many days. But, during the week you got, a talk you got to give it in this state, or this you got to do in this state. And I still own some dealerships in Idaho, so I got to travel to Idaho every few weeks and just check on those dealerships.
That's kind of what I was wondering, because it sounds like you're kind of all over the place with your business, and so it's hard to get into a routine, it feels like.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I grind pretty hard. I think people might wonder, why don't that guy just take a load off and go down to the beach or whatever else, and that's just not who I am. I create my own pressure, and I'm all over the place all the time. I mean, I would say we're on a jet traveling on average a couple of days a week, almost always, I would say, if not on the helicopter going. Yeah. And next year's going to be even. Anybody watching your podcast that wants some heat dropped at one of their events, they want some inspiration, they want some blue collar advice, give us a follow on at the Heath Treasure. We'd love to come drop some fire and get some people motivated to do some cool shit.
That's awesome.
And then we also, can I drop one other thing? We've got an event that we're doing. One of my friends, Sean Whalen, he's the founder of Lions Not Sheep. Clothing brand, badass clothing brand. He turned it into a multi-million-dollar clothing brand. Yeah, he's coming. Marcus Luttrell from the movie Lone Survivor. He was the Navy SEAL that got captured, the sniper that got captured. He's coming. Me and Andy Elliott are going to be doing Andy Elliott's very first Blue Collar Summit, and we're speaking on a stage November 16th. I'll give you guys the link if anybody wants the link to come to that event. We're going to drop some heat, drop some fire, explain people step-by-step things of how they can really change their life, whether it's building their business, growing their business, or getting their business to get ready to be sold. And some of those people there are future blue-collar millionaires. They're not quite there, but they want to go. But I'd like to invite any of your listeners to come out there and let us drop the heat on them.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love what you're doing, and I really appreciate you coming, man. Great talk, great learning about you, great learning about you too. And, I agree with you 100%. I'm glad you're doing this type of stuff because we really need people to teach business out there and get people motivated and make more millionaires. Is what it comes down to. I love the blue collar aspect and great marketing. And I love it, man.
Let's put the blue back in the red, white, and blue.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, brother.
All right.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Izzy.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. So what's this hat?